Good afternoon, everyone. This is Kirsten Hall with Pointe Publishing again, coming to you with yet another conversational introduction interview. This afternoon, we have Liam Ulland-Joy. He is one of our newest authors. He's got some really fun books coming out. We're going to learn more about those. And his first adventure is a trilogy. It's science fiction trilogy. And it's very good, and he's going to tell us all about it. And then he's actually got another standalone project that we'll probably see later into 2021. And then I'm sure once all the creativity starts, it's just going to keep going, and well, there you go. Anyway, all right, so we are going to get to know Liam here. Liam, do you want to say hi to everyone in YouTube world?
Hello, everybody.
All right. Well, we have the 5 questions from him for our scripted reality TV show that we're doing here. And the first one is, Liam, if you want to tell us 5 things about you.
Well, the first thing that I wanted to say is I live in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Not many people, I think, know where that is. It's you cross the Mackinac Bridge. It's between the Mitten part, the lower part. Cross the Mackinac Bridge to get up there. It borders Lake Superior, so pretty close to Canada. So, I wasn't born there though. I moved there when I was just 1. So I was born in South Carolina, so I don't remember. Okay.
Probably not a whole lot.
Yeah.
All right. What are 3 other things about you?
1 second, sorry. Okay. Well, before I started writing writing books and novels and things like that, I actually made some small games that I would play with my friends as a way to just pass the time and have fun. So some card games and board games. So that was a nice way to create stories and things like that.
Do you still play those?
Yeah, and I make new ones from time to time, actually.
Okay, very cool. And then, okay, you got 2 more things.
All right. Well, another thing is that I write for a youth journalism group in my town. About current events, and I write sometimes news stories or a personal column thing. So it's fun.
What are some of the topics that have been covered in that?
Well, like local stories are talked about a lot in the big article part of it. In my personal thing, you're actually allowed to write about whatever you want. So I've talked about my experiences actually as in making board games and things like that. Talked about my hobbies ranging from writing to computer programming. I do a little bit of that. Okay.
You got 1 more thing.
Yep. I was just going to say, I'm very proud to have actually won some awards in the Scholastic Art and Writing Awards. I won one in 2019 and the 2020 as well. So.
Well, very cool. Now, I also happened to be, when I was putting together your webpage and snooping, I just did a Google search of your name. And I found was it some NPR or public radio? You've done a guy surfing on Lake Michigan. So is that part of that writing group that you're a part of?
It is. It's all connected, actually. Sometimes I go on some radio stations and actually speak what I write for them.
Okay, well, very cool. Yeah, I only found, I found the Wave one, and so I stuck that on your webpage and gave credits for due and such. And then I found, now of course this was 3 days ago, so I got to remember this stuff, but I think it was another newspaper article, a couple of different things in there. So, all right, so we've got that, and all right, so off we go. I will point out to everyone in YouTube world, when my co-publisher / the person who runs the show read Liam's submission, I think she got probably into like halfway through the first paragraph, she was hooked, and she's like, let's do this. So for the fact that you could impress Chelsea, you're doing good. So yeah, she's really looking forward to starting to see your stuff. And I know she's given you an October 1st date. So she's really looking forward to that. All right, second question. When did you first start writing?
Well, like I said, I was doing some small projects when I was pretty young, like elementary school.
Mhm.
I wrote my first big thing, like a novel-length piece in 5th grade. Um, Ever since then, I've been working on smaller things, and eventually I started submitting to those writing contests, and then this. So,
Well, there you go. No, that's great. And for everyone, not everyone, but most everyone that I talked to, whoever had anything with writing in their life or whatever, has started early elementary, that kind of thing. So you're right on track. Um, what's the story behind your latest book?
well, for the setting, it was partly inspired from interventions in real-life wars and that kind of thing. I follow current events actually pretty regularly. Um, but the main thing I wanted to do was tell a more personal story about a war. Just a group of people going into this city, this very dangerous place in bad conditions, trying to make a difference and possibly bring about a big change. So,
Mhm. Are you a historical buff or more of a current activity buff?
well, I've also read some historical things, so I would say
Okay.
pretty much in the middle between those two.
Okay. All right. So it's a good mix. Now, do you notice that history tends to repeat itself?
Yes.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be neat if some of us could learn lessons going forward? Never mind. I'm not going to get into that. All right. What are you working on next?
Next, I'm hoping to write just a big novel from an earlier project that I made. I'm going to remake it. That's the one from 5th grade. I did
Okay.
something over time, but I never fully remade it or anything. So that's what I'm hoping to do is transform it, make a big thing.
Is that another sci-fi novel or what?
Science fiction, fantasy,
Okay.
actually stronger fantasy element to it. So,
Okay. Well, very cool. Well, we're looking forward to that as well. Um, all right. Well, what do you read for pleasure?
um, I mostly read science fiction and fantasy, like what I write.
Hmm.
I've read things like Dune.
Hmm.
Um, actually never finished Dune, but I got pretty far into it.
There's a movie. No, I know that they cut a lot out for movies,
Yeah,
instead of the books and such. Well, that sounds so. Would you ever write something along those lines?
like an epic science fiction.
Uh-huh.
It's something
Yeah.
that I've thought about actually. I
Okay.
would need to take some time and develop a world that I would want to write about.
Um, do you, I know this is not one of your questions. Now I'm going to ask you made up. No, okay. Um, are you someone who outlines things or you kind of just shoot from the seat of your pants, or do you kind of do a mix, or do you have one of those big walls that has red string all over it with little note cards? What's your technique? What's your way of doing it?
Definitely not the wall with red strings. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think your mom would go with that.
probably.
Probably not. But do you do outlines or do you kind of just shoot from, do you start from like the middle of the story with the big thing and then just piece it off of there? Or do you start from once upon a time on page one all the way to the end on page, whatever it happens to be?
I do write some outlines, like with characters and events. I just do
Okay.
that. I don't know. It's also honestly a bit fun to keep track of everything like that. Um,
Well, yeah. And putting stuff together. And then of course it really helps when you have it all kept track. Because when you go back to edit, you're not like, oh, I totally forgot that. Oh.
yeah.
That's
Yes.
bad. Yeah, yeah, note taking is a good thing.
Okay.
All right, and then I was going to ask you now, are those behind you on your cork board? What's all behind there?
So those are keychains that I collected.
Okay.
I don't do it very seriously. It's not like I'm a keychain collector,
Hmm.
serious about it. but over a couple of years, I've just casually collected some. Most places will sell them.
Oh,
So,
yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, I would say you probably have more than the average bear, so maybe you are a keychain collector.
yeah.
All right. And then I was going to ask you, what does your desk look like?
It's actually a desk that was used by my grandma. And then later by my dad. It's pretty small. It has just the basic computer equipment, and I have a pen and pencil holder that was made by my sister. It's taken up pretty much by the computer equipment. I have a plug-in microphone and headphones that I use. There's cabinets, where I put paper and pens and things if I need to keep track of something I'm writing. So.
Okay. All right. Well, we won't look at what my desk looks like.
Okay. All right.
There's a reason that I'm sitting behind the door and not near my desk, because no one should need to look. Yeah, I don't want to look at that. Anyway, all right. Is there anything else you would like to add to the our conversational interview? Oh, you've got Fudge up in Mackinac. When you said Mackinac, the first thing that came off to my mind was Fudge, because Fudge.
Yeah.
Do they close that bridge in the winter or something?
I actually don't really know. I don't live very close to the bridge.
Okay.
I know they close it during extreme weather.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
actually, the bridge itself is actually not very close to the island.
Uh-huh.
They're far apart. Actually spelled the same. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anytime anyone says Mackinac, I'm like, bridge, Fudge. I mean, that's all and in Michigan, that much I know, over a
Really?
big body of water, but the fudge really is the first thing that shows up in my mind. So is it the best fudge on the planet?
I've had some. I haven't had a lot of fudge, but I would say yes, it's the best I've ever had.
Pretty darn good. Okay. Well, one of these days I'll have to get up there and do that then. So yeah, sometime January, February, we'll see the first of Liam's trilogy coming out and all sorts of fun stuff past that. And thank you again, like I said, for joining us. And somewhere around the screen it says subscribe. So if you could click on that and join us, we will have more things coming up. And all right, you want to say bye to everyone in the internet land?
Bye. Thanks for watching the video, tuning in.
Thank you. Thank you this afternoon for joining us. We'll talk to you later. Bye.